Hey guys, Mark here. I hope you are well. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a simple table swab. A table swab is basically a brush used to clean the table or other surfaces. Here you can see an example of a table swab. This is the style that we're going to be making in this video. Basically, you just pick it up and brush away any breadcrumbs, or you can use it to clean your workbench, or you can even use it as a makeshift brush. Since it has a fairly nautical theme to it, it is both decorative and practical. Let's make one. The first thing that you're going to need when making a table swab is a piece of rope. Now, not all types of rope are going to do. For example, hemp and cotton are too soft. Because they are too soft, they are not going to produce some stiff hairs which you need to clean your table. As such, you need more rigid or stiffer rope. I usually use either manila or sisal. Now, sisal produces a finer, softer brush, but it is also easier to work with. Manila is stiffer and harder to work with. Because manila is so stiff, it often produces splinters, so you need to work with gloves when working with manila. So we now know what types of rope to use, either manila or sisal. Now, as far as the diameter of your rope goes, it really depends on what you have available. In my case, I'm going to be using 5/16 of an inch diameter rope. This is about 8 millimeters. Now, you can use thicker rope as well. For example, a 1/2 inch rope is going to do great. As far as the length of my rope goes, I'm going to be using one piece 4 feet long. So for this size of rope, so 5/16 of an inch, 4 feet should be more than plenty. Besides my rope, I'm going to be using a marlin spike in order to tighten up this knot which holds my swab together. Now, a marlin spike is ideal, but you can also use something like a nail, maybe a thread, or even just a stick. Something to give you some leverage when you're tightening up your knot. You're also going to need a pair of scissors to trim the ends of your rope once you fray them. And finally, I use a lighter to burn off any stray fibers sticking out of my rope. This is optional, but it makes your swab look a bit better. With these supplies ready, let's begin tying. We can now begin tying. As I've mentioned earlier, we're going to be using 5/16 of an inch diameter rope, about 4 feet long. Since I'm using manila, I'm going to put on a pair of gloves just to protect my hands. We're going to start tying by taking our rope and folding it in half. So this is the middle point in our rope. With our left end, we're going to make a loop. Like this. So a simple loop. Take your right end and fold it up towards the top like this. Then place it under the loop. Like this. Now, with the right end, pass over this strand, then under the left end, then weave over, under, over. So, over, under, and over. So at this point what we got is a Carrick bend. We can see a diamond shape at the center. Take the top right strand, pass over this one here on the top left, then under and through the middle of the Carrick bend. Take the bottom left strand, pass over this part or strand, then under and through the middle. Pick up the two ends and this top loop and pull. And what you got is a lanyard knot. Now you can see that the knot is very loose. We start tightening it up by taking one of our strands coming into the knot. We pull on it a little bit and we work out the slack through the knot and out of one of the working ends. Then what we're going to do is take the other strand coming into the knot and do the same thing. So we pull it in a little bit and we work out the slack into the other working end. Like this. At this point, our knot is still quite loose. Take a tool, such as a Marlin spike, and we're going to tighten it up a second time exactly the same way. So pick out a strand coming into the knot and pull on it to remove as much slack as you can. The spike gives you extra leverage. And finally, we again work out the slack out of the working end. And then we pick out the other strand and we again start tightening. And finally, again, we pull our slack out of the working end. Now you can do this several times. Just keep tightening up until you can't tighten anymore. After tightening my knot, I'm going to tighten it a bit further by pulling on the ends. So I pull on the loop and the two ends interchangeably to tighten up further. After you're happy with the tightening, we're going to cut the two ends. So cut a length that you're happy with for the brush. So something like this. Now I'm going to unravel the two ends. And then I'm going to unravel the strands in the two ends further, basically breaking them down as much as I can. Some people use a hair comb to get the twists out of the fibers. I don't tend to use a comb. I just use my fingers and unravel everything by hand. It is a matter of preference, whatever you like. You just need to break down all of the strands so that you get these neat single fibers running through the brush. At some point, you're going to be happy with this little bush that you created. To straighten it out a little bit, I grab it and I slightly twist it. Like this. Take a pair of scissors and straighten out the tips of your brush. So something like this. Now we can begin the final step, which is optional, and that is to remove any loose fibers sticking out of your rope. So first I use my scissors. And then I transition into a lighter and burn off any loose fibers sticking out. Again, this is optional. And this is the table swab. A simple project, a fun one, and a very decorative one. Guys, thank you very much for joining me in this tutorial. I hope to see you next time.